Hola, hola, mi gente. What is up? Welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Ariana, and I am a nomad currently living in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And I help Black women earn, plan, and thrive abroad. Now, two of the most asked questions of today are: how do I find a remote job, and how do I move abroad? Almost as if they go hand in hand. But the truth is that landing a job, let alone a remote job, is almost like hitting the lottery today. Companies that advertise their roles as remote often still require you to be in the US. And with so many people looking for work right now, it's really challenging to get your foot in the door or to even get your application seen by something that's not a bot. Not to mention the number of job scams and fake listings that are out there. That's a whole other story. Then there's this remote work with no experience trend that's going around. These promote entry level roles that you can start online immediately. But again, most of these companies do not allow you to work outside of the country. And even if they did, you'd likely be investing more into them than they would to you, given the pay to effort ratio. Now, add being a Black woman on top of that, and trying to find a remote job seems nearly impossible. This is why I'm so passionate about helping women who look like me figure out how to monetize their skills. So you can live your life freely, whenever and however, without having to depend or wait on this mess of a job industry. Now, I'm not going to hold you. Building an online income stream is no easy feat. It requires work, and it certainly doesn't happen overnight. I learned this firsthand after getting laid off abroad and having to pivot to figure out how to support myself. Despite what some of these get rich quick YouTubers might try to lead you to believe, it takes time to get clients, to market yourself, to make the content. Honestly, it even just takes time trying to figure out what you're doing and figuring out the systems that work. And while it is challenging, the alternative is to wait around and see if a remote opportunity opens up. There is no easy path to move abroad, but one does have more of a guarantee than the other. Building your own online income streams is the answer to moving abroad and living a life on your terms. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that makes sense, but I'm trying to leave now. I'm not trying to wait around X amount of weeks or months while I get my income streams up. And I get it. The US is a draining place to be, which is why I left years ago. But the good news is you don't have to stay there. There is a way that you can move sooner than later while getting your income streams into place. It's called geo arbitrage. Now, by simple definition, Google will tell you that this is the practice of moving to a place that has a lower cost of living while earning in a currency that is higher, such as the dollar or the euro. But in my opinion, if you ask me, geo arbitrage is about taking a nomadic approach to living abroad. Instead of viewing your exit as a permanent or long term move to another country, you make plans to hop around to 4 or 5 select countries throughout the year. I shared a post on my Instagram breaking down the math. During my first 2 years as a nomad, I traveled to 18 countries and spent less than $1,500 per month. That was about how much I paid in just rent alone in the United States. So, if you are currently living in America and you are feeding yourself, you are housing yourself, you are paying your bills every month, you absolutely can live abroad. And you don't need a remote job to do it. The caveat is you do need to have savings. Ideally, savings and a separate fund for emergencies as well. I would never advise anyone to move abroad without any type of financial safety net because that's not wise or sustainable by any means. But by intentionally selecting countries that have a lower cost of living, which is a vast number of countries outside of the US, you can optimize your funds while being abroad and simultaneously build your online income streams. In fact, I would even argue that building your income streams while you're abroad is the more beneficial way to do it because you get to choose your environment. You get to choose to be in a place where your nervous system can rest. You can choose a place that has fresh, quality foods that are easily accessible and affordable. And you can choose to be somewhere where racial tension and gun violence aren't an everyday norm. These are the type of environments that fuel creativity, inspiration, productivity, motivation, all the things necessary to work efficiently. When I lost my job, I was actually living in Medellin, Colombia. And being there gave me the space that I needed to process all the emotions that I felt after getting laid off. I was able to take time to heal and figure out what my next moves were going to be without having to stress about finances, even while still being unemployed. It's a lot easier to think clearly, to fail fast, and to come up with new ideas when the pressure of financially supporting yourself isn't looming over your head. There are also money hacks that you can leverage to help stretch your funds even further while you're abroad. One of my favorite hacks is racking up travel points by just paying rent. So instead of paying my rent directly from my checking account, I use my Chase Sapphire credit card to make the payment. Then, after the transaction posts, I simply move the money from my rent from my checking to my credit card. It's basically like making my credit card the middleman. But by doing it this way, I rack up on travel points simply by making an everyday purchase. I pretty much flew for free my first year as a nomad by combining this strategy with bonus sign up points. So, if you're planning your move soon, I highly recommend taking full advantage of that. And as for your savings, a good hack is to keep your money in a high yield savings account as opposed to just a regular one. This is really a means of passive income that's actually passive. You don't have to do anything other than allow your money to sit in a specific bank account. Hacks like these, combined with geo arbitrage, aka being a nomad, is the cheat code for making your move sooner than later. Earning abroad is important, but where you live and for how long can make a big difference too. As Americans, we're tax liable no matter where in the world we are. So it's really important to keep that in mind when you are planning your move. Traveling slowly and spending 3 to 6 months in a destination does help keep your flight costs down. But you'll want to be careful to select countries that won't consider you tax liable within that period of time so you can avoid double taxation. Then, of course, there's also certain tax benefits that you can use as well, such as the FEIE or the foreign earned income exclusion. This can prevent you not only from being taxed twice, but can also result in a tax credit at times. I've gotten paid by the government a few times just for being outside of the US strategically. So, those are just a few of the tools and strategies that I use to help my clients make the move abroad on a timeline that's a fit for them and using the skills and resources that they already have. If you're someone who is looking to make your move within the next 6 months and you want help mapping out your game plan, book a clarity call with me. I'm here to help you not only make the transition smooth, but also make it sustainable. Together, we'll figure out what makes the most sense for you on your timeline, on your budget, and using the skills that you have. Now, if you're curious about nomad life or you're already traveling as a nomad and looking to connect with a group of people who look like you and are also doing the same, check out the link in the description to come and join us over at the Melanated Nomad Network. Thanks, as always, for watching, and be sure to share this video with someone that you know who is looking to move abroad ASAP. Also, don't forget to check out this video over here because YouTube seems to think that you will really like it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao, ciao.